Welcome back, everybody. We have one hell of an episode for you today. Things are going crazy globally. If you didn't notice, I have been telling people since 2013 that they need to get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to become a world reserve currency, and that has never been more clear than it is today. I'm going to tell you a compelling argument why Bitcoin is due to become a world reserve currency extremely soon, much sooner than you probably would have expected. I mean, we have everybody talking about the collapse of the US dollar, banks failing, everybody fleeing to gold and Bitcoin as a hedge against monetary inflation, hyperinflation that is. We have everybody. China is enforcing strict monetary control. And lastly, guys, August. I mean, tomorrow, starting August, we are in to see a big Bitcoin rally. Stay tuned to the very end. I give you analysis of where I think it's going, what exactly that price target is. Stay tuned. This is going to be a good one. Hit the bell, subscribe, share with everybody. If you care about your friends, if you care about your family, you need to share this information with people. It is crucial. It is critical. I make a compelling argument of why you need to get into Bitcoin right now. Stay tuned. This is an important video. Again, subscribe, hit the bell, like, and share. Share, baby, share. Check it out. All right, guys, on the first story, first mover, sleepy Fed meeting belies tense economic reality, money printer go brrrr that may buoy Bitcoin. All right, so I was like really kind of disappointed by the actions that the Federal Reserve was taking and the U.S. government and things like that, just printing money, propping up the markets. But after kind of following what's been going on and observing very closely, it seems like it's actually the perfect kind of storm brewing for Bitcoin to become the world reserve currency. So after a 2-day closed-door meeting this week, the Federal Reserve issued a 6-paragraph statement on Wednesday and held an hour-long press conference. So the Wall Street firm Goldman Sachs warned earlier this week the US dollar is at risk of losing status as a de facto global reserve currency. Goldman Sachs, one of the most respected and well-known financial institutions in the world, warns that usually, like, they're not going to say this stuff lightly, right? Like, Goldman Sachs isn't just going to be like, yeah, I think maybe it's going to happen. Like, if they start making these announcements publicly, I think that they're pretty sure it's going to happen. This other one, Pantheon, a macroeconomic forecasting firm, says the U.S. economy in the second quarter probably had its biggest drop ever recorded by far. Jobless claims probably rose to about 16.5 million last week. Okay, so as we know, we're in the middle of this pandemic, and it is destroying the underlying economy. However, the U.S. has a lot of pride. The current administration has a lot of pride, and they will be damned if everything collapses on their watch. I would be, even if I was in a position to become president, I don't know if I would right now want to do that. I mean, it is going to be a rough next 4 years, and whoever is going to be in that hot seat is going to be at blame for this. Like, the next president, not even by fault of their own, could be blamed for as being the president of the United States while the entire country crumbled. Rick Reeder, chief investment officer of global fixed income money market giant BlackRock, told CNBC that the US dollar, which is on course to post its worst month in a decade, will likely continue to decline. It's inevitable, right? So at first, there was this idea of the dollar milkshake theory, which I talked about in a previous video. And that, just to quickly sum it up, is that there's so much demand for the US dollar because it's a world reserve currency that the Fed can continue to print and print and print. And there's so much demand because every other currency in the world is starting to decline as well. And so people are going to flee into the US dollar. However, that might have been the case if this pandemic had been, wrapping up by now. But the fact is that it is only getting worse. And the Fed is going to have to continue to print and print and print in order to not have the total economy. Well, the economy is already collapsing, but not have the markets crash, because that's what represents the economy, right? But it doesn't really represent the economy, but that's just what they want you to think. Moving on, the only thing that seems certain is the Federal Reserve will will keep creating billions of dollars a day and pumping them into global markets. On Wall Street, it's not even controversial anymore to suggest that the stock market is to be propped up by the U.S. Central Bank. I mean, this was us conspiracy tin hat foilers saying, yeah, the markets are propped up by the Federal Reserve, but now it's just common knowledge, right? So this is absolutely good for Bitcoin. Fidelity Investments, which oversees $7.3 trillion of customer assets, wrote this month in a report that Bitcoin's next wave of awareness and adoption could be driven by external factors such as unprecedented levels of intervention by central banks and governments, record low interest rates, increasing fiat money supply, deglobalization, and the potential for ensuing inflation, all of which have been accelerated by the pandemic and economic shutdown. Fidelity, which manages $7.3 trillion in assets, said that Bitcoin's next wave of awareness could be influenced by these things. Wake up. Jerome Powell was candid about the Fed's willingness to provide further monetary accommodation, even after policymakers earlier this year slashed interest rates close to zero and expanded the central bank's balance sheet by roughly $3 trillion. The amount represents roughly 75% of the total amount. Okay, wait for it. The amount represents roughly 75% of the total amount of money previously created in its 107-year history. We've done that in a few months. We've printed 75% of the money that US dollars has ever printed. Holy crap. If you're keeping your value in dollars, you are losing value insanely right now, right? That's insane. One question might be whether the Fed can stimulate markets with more dollars if the U.S. currency is looking weak in foreign exchange markets, according to Pantheon. The Fed may have to increase the pace of its monthly bond purchases once the Treasury begins to issue the $1.5 trillion extra debt we reckon will be needed to finance the next relief bill. Holy crap. And then the Fed just comes in and says, don't worry, we got this. We are committed to using our full range of tools to support the economy. Meaning, money printer go brrrr. First Mover reported earlier this week that Deutsche Bank strategist Jim Reed sees the Fed adding another, get ready for it, 12 trillion to its balance sheet in the next few years, to the already 700 trillion of total assets as of last week. I mean, this is where you just throw in the white handkerchief and just give up. Dollar. I mean, it's nice. I mean that we have. It's actually nice. It's happening in a gradual way, right? Because this gives people time to learn about Bitcoin, time to learn about its deflationary system, and if the entire market just collapsed, like I thought it was going to do a couple months ago when I started talking to you guys, we wouldn't have had this gradual ability for adoption to occur, and people wouldn't have had time to look at these alternative investment opportunities. But this is very good. It's very nice for Bitcoin. Tell everybody. Share this with everybody. This is huge. It just seems blatantly obvious. In fact, check out this next article. Americans to buy Bitcoin with their second stimulus check after initial investment turned 50% profit. So money printer go brrr, Bitcoin go brrr, and it's just well, let me just let me just read this to you. U.S. investors may be planning to use their second $1,200 stimulus money to buy Bitcoin again. The U.S. government is, on Monday, expected to approve plans for the second payout, White House officials have confirmed. The bailout is intended to cushion families against the 19 fallout. Instead of buying groceries or paying rent, many Americans opted to invest in the top cryptocurrency when they received their first stimulus check in April. And the gamble, ditching inflammatory government money for deflationary crypto, is paying off. Those that converted the free money to Bitcoin have rocketed up 54% in profit in 3 months as the price of BTC barreled past 10,700 on July 27th. So it's even up higher now. So you have an option. You can keep your $1,200 stimulus check in shitty U.S. dollar fiat issued government currency that is inflating like a mofo right now, or you can put it in Bitcoin, which is deflating like a mofo right now, and value is increasing. You choose. I think it's pretty clear to those who have an understanding. At the time when the checks were first issued, each Bitcoin traded for around $7,000. Today, each $1,200 check invested in Bitcoin is worth about $1,829, a gain of more than $600. That's 50%. That's over 50% increase in the value. I mean, what would you? Obviously. Now, history may be about to repeat itself. I mean, you better believe that if someone was smart enough to put their free money, the free government issued money into Bitcoin, and they just increase their holdings by 54%, they're going to be telling their friends about it, and they're going to be like, "Damn, you did that last time? Yeah, we could do it again. This time, it's coming. Next week, checks are coming out. Buy Bitcoin, make money." I mean, you got to think of ways to increase your holdings. If you can't really rely on the government, and you can't really rely on jobs, you gotta start thinking a little bit more smart. And you better believe that anybody who took advantage of this opportunity last time is gonna be telling their friends, and they're gonna be doing it too. If a third one comes out, guess what they're gonna be doing? Buying Bitcoin with it also. Here are some funny little quotes. "Straight to Bitcoin, straight to the cold storage wallet," said Reddit user Limited Visibility while responding to a thread started by Walkman0351, who asked who else is converting their free government money straight into BTC. Another Redditor, 𝗕𝗶𝗰 stated, what I do get will go straight to Bitcoin just like last time. It's really the easiest way to avoid hitting inflation from the stupid Fed continuously money printing. Opinion Giraffe. Adge. Someone else claimed, "I will be buying more car parts in Bitcoin. We have plenty of food because we've been stocking up all summer long." According to U.S. government officials, the latest stimulus checks are expected to be paid out sometime in August. White House economic advisor 𝗪𝗏𝗏 told CNN that families will receive their second $1,200 payout as part of a $1 trillion stimulus package. Another trillion, like no problem, just money printer. You want to make it rain, baby? So does the Federal Reserve, and they're doing it oh so well. When the government first paid out stimulus money in April, large cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase and Binance reported spike in exactly $1,200 equivalent deposits on their platforms. Here's something interesting. If Binance reported $1,200 deposits, that means it came from U.S. investors. I thought U.S. investors weren't allowed to participate on Binance. I guess VPNs exist. That's a good idea. Brian Armstrong, Chief Executive Officer of Coinbase, said that the last time the number of $1,200 worth of deposits and buys on the exchange climbed by nearly 400% that month. Boo, yeah, 400% boost. And so I was not in support of this federal money printing, and now I have changed my tune, my friends. Please print away. And do it in a way that slowly, please do it in a way that slowly decreases the value of the US dollar and allows people to catch up on the idea of hedging against this massive inflation by hedging into a much more viable deflationary currency like Bitcoin. Next up, dollar falls to lowest level in over 2 years while gold, silver, Bitcoin continue to shine. All right, here's the highlights. The dollar on Thursday dropped to its lowest level since May 2018 as the Federal Reserve said it plans to keep interest rates close to zero or basically at zero. And inflation hedges continue to show strength. The dollar's weighted trade index, a measure of its value relative to a basket of other dominant currencies, dropped about to 93.04 Thursday afternoon. Last time the index traded this low was on May 15th, 2018, according to TradingView. As the dollar weakens, gold continues to trade near its all-time highs, reaching 1980 on Tuesday. The yellow metal has gained more than 10% in July. Silver rallied nearly 30% in July, trading at 23.26 at last check. Bitcoin, previously stuck trading in a tight range between 9,000 and 10,000 for nearly 2 months, that was boring, followed the rallies in precious metals when it broke 11,400 on Tuesday. Bitcoin has soared 53% in 2020, according to Messari. In the coming weeks, you'll see the dollar weakening further. 𝗕𝗂𝘃, a currency strategist at Scotiabank, told the Financial Times. Okay, boom. Like this is something that I've been talking about for a while. The dollar is going into hyperinflation territory. This is crazy. But, you know, every 100 years, every world reserve currency or the dominant currency force in the world has, on average, crumbled, right? So it is time for the US dollar to also follow that path. And I would tell you that the Chinese yuan is up to take that spotlight, but stay tuned for a minute and I'll tell you why that might not be the case. Goldman Sachs warns US dollar risk losing world reserve currency status. Gold and Bitcoin soar. Goldman Sachs has warned that the US dollar may lose its status as the world reserve currency. The investment bank is bullish on gold as fears over governments debasing the fiat currencies grow and real interest rates are pushed to all-time lows. Goldman Sachs dollar and precious predictions. So real concerns about longevity of the US dollar reserve currency have started to emerge. I just talked about this a few minutes ago. It is a real concern when people like Goldman Sachs start talking about it. I mean, I have been telling people since 2013 that Bitcoin would become a world reserve currency one day, but I had no proof to show anybody. It's like I couldn't even point to a news article anywhere. People just thought I was crazy. And everyone wanted me to stop talking about it. They were just bored of me hearing Bitcoin, world reserve currency, world reserve currency, world reserve currency. But I told them, and now I have like evidence stacked for days, right? So if this doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. I mean, you really have to see what's coming. It is obvious, blatantly obvious. I mean, this is just it's a perfect storm. Bitcoin has been given the time to mature and strengthen and globalize. And in the meantime, we're seeing all of these unfit monetary systems collapsing. So, okay, so let me get into this. The strategists explained that the US dollar faces several risks, citing that debt level in the US has now exceeded 80% of the country's gross domestic product. They anticipate that the government and central bank may allow inflation to accelerate. The debt has increased or has expected 80% of the country's gross domestic product. That is insane. The resulting expanded balance sheets and vast money creation spurs debasement fears. They described adding that this creates a greater likelihood that at some point in time in the future, after economic activity has normalized, there will be incentive for central banks and governments to allow inflation to drift higher to reduce the accumulated debt burden. Yeah, obvious. Bitcoin has also been named a safe haven asset for the current environment. Galaxy Digital's Mike Novogratz, for example, believes that with central banks mass printing money, it is an amazing environment for both being long gold and Bitcoin. Okay, Novogratz is always bullish. Permable. But can you blame him? So I would tell you that China would be in the running for the world reserve currency because they had such a strong economy, but China is going through problems too. And people in China are worried about their wealth. The buying of gold and precious metals in China have been also skyrocketing. The purchases, people are leaving the yuan, trying to hedge for inflation, because China, guess what? China's printing money too. China's Fed is also going brrr. So Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, the country's biggest lender, said on Wednesday it would bar clients from opening new trading positions for platinum, palladium, and index products that are linked to precious metals from Friday. That directive, according to the lender's customer service department, was in response to violent price volatility and the need to control risks. Agriculture, what China say? Like, look, I'm not going to read all these. Agriculture Bank of China, the Shanghai Gold Exchange, and Shanghai Futures Exchange all say the same thing. What they're saying is like, hey guys, this is the message they're delivering. Be careful. Gold and precious metals are very risky, especially with this huge price increase. We want to protect you, so we're going to ban you from buying any more. Capital control at its finest. What does this mean? This means that if Chinese are already aware that they need to be hedging into a different asset, and they can't buy real gold, guess what? They're going to buy digital gold. Guess what that is? Bitcoin. This is good for Bitcoin. I mean, all the stars are aligning, baby. All the stars. Okay. And last up, I just want to give you my August price prediction, okay? Because everything seems abundantly clear. Even now, the value, since I started making this video, Bitcoin is climbing. Right here, like I don't do technical analysis. I just look for obvious kinds of things like this. And right now, there's really no we broke through resistance. We just smashed through resistance. And now the only kind of things I can see as resistance is up in this $12,300 level here. There's a little bit of resistance, but we try to break through, fell back down, and then up here over 13,000. So my price prediction, and I see it's natural that every time we see one of these resistance walls, we see a little bit of a sell-off. So I'm expecting a little bit of nervousness here around 12,200. I think that we'll see a little bit of a pullback, and then we're definitely going to approach 13,100 or so in August, and then we could smash through this, we could not, I don't know, but I expect to see a $13,000, $14,000, $13,000 Bitcoin in August, right? So let's get ready to rumble, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you appreciate it. Hope you love it. Please subscribe. It means so much to me. Share this with everybody. This is share. This is incredibly important. This is like like I said, back in 2013, when I first started telling everybody about Bitcoin, I didn't have things like this to justify my answers. People that are just crazy. But now you have so much compelling evidence of what's going on. It is abundantly obvious. Share this with everybody you know that you care about. This is important information to get out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I put out new episodes. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.